Hello people, and welcome back to part 26 of Palaven, of another Cities Skylines build. Hope you're having a wonderful day. And we're looking at some additions that we made on Sunday's live stream here. Thank you for everyone that stopped by. We even had Biffa show up. Biffa show up for a live stream, like, what the hell? That was super cool. Thanks for Biffa for, just hanging out for a little bit. Yeah, bit of a fangirl moment. And on Sunday's stream, we began to play with some ideas on the right-hand side of this highway here. So we implemented a lot of industrial stuff around here, and it's backed this junction up, because they're all trying to come through the ring road and get down into here. So this is still kind of like a fledgling idea at the minute. We were looking at combining some nightlife with some industry stuff. I've since cleared out a bunch of kind of factories and warehouses and other assets that we had along this road, because it was just, the area's not quite ready yet. This idea is in like its fledgling stage, right? And have a look how we've sunk in the terrain here. So we're right against the highway. We've dug a little tunnel through that comes out this side of the highway, nearby to the little tram commercial park area that we did quite a while ago now. I think this was like episode 3 or something. So yeah. The idea is in its early stages, but I think there's something to be had with the repeated road pattern with the canal and industry and nightlife together. So we will return here at some point to refine this idea, and it may even make a modular build as well. So today we're going to be working on this little corner of the map over by the Blackgold Nature Reserve and the Industrial Town Centre, and begin to flesh out some ideas for this little corner going on, because we've got some really varied kind of terrain heights here, bordering onto the national park. And we've got some highway spice we can potentially get involved with along this side of the residential area as well. We did also come back through with high density residential for the industrial town centre, which I think is looking a lot more industrial, kind of suits the name a little bit more now. Some of these assets might be a little too tall, but either way, I think it's a nice change. Thanks for the support on this episode as well, guys. You guys really enjoyed it. So did I. Especially this little window right here. This is a special little view. Lovely, lovely. Okay, so let's get on with today. So I don't think I like the idea of the sunken metro anymore. So we're going to terraform this back out so it's at normal height. So let's take away the underground line, and then we'll grab ourselves a high intensity medium level terrain brush, and we'll push all this. If we just cut this one back a little bit, we should be able to squeeze under here. Wonderful. I quite like that aesthetic, Unfortunately, we are tearing through into another dimension ever so slightly. Just maybe a touch of dimensional tearing happening under the bridge, but that's just the game mechanics. We can terraform that out to try and hide it, but it's not a huge issue. Then we'll start to introduce just a touch of commercial zoning opposite the metro station as well. Maybe a plaza alongside it also. Let's go for a zoo plaza. Oh, thank you as well, guys, for all the contributions and submissions to this month's Spice of the Month. And we've had some really good entries so far. If you aren't aware of what that is, do get down in the Discord. You'll be able to find out a little competition that we're running. You can win Cities Skylines DLC. Okay, so now let's give ourselves a highway connection so people can kind of come and go from this side of town and not force their way through the oil industry, the forest industry area. And I guess the oil as well, because the oil is a little further down the road. I'm going to bring a little asymmetrical road out here. And we want the 2 lanes facing into the roundabout. And then we'll go our terraforming. And we're going to do a little bit of slope terrain magic here. So we've got like a natural ramp for these to ascend out of. And just do a little bit of softening so it's not quite as harsh. I think the terraforming here is a little harsher than I would like, but we'll tidy this up in the detailing. But at least now we've got some little on and off ramps this side of the highway. which again, you know, will take pressure off of these ones and this one down there and that one over there as well. Yeah, we'll see if we got some people using it. Yeah, this is what we want. See all these little industrial trucks? The small oil truck, small oil pump is exporting. As is one of the medium warehouse exporting paper. More paper, wonderful. Palaven has a massive paper export industry apparently. And then they can merge on, and super, wonderful. That's exactly what we wanted to happen. Yeah, waste processing truck as well, getting on the highway from here. This is all what we want to see, you know, all this really heavy industrialised traffic taking the highway. Yes, please. Fantastic. So we're going to draw in kind of a main tram avenue that's going to climb up this hill here. So we've got some pretty strong San Francisco vibes going on at this point. However, with the way that the buildings generate on terrain, we're going to have some rather ugly looking kind of things going on. So we need to be careful of that. You also want to be careful of some of these buildings as well, because they're getting a little too tall for me. We did have a comment in an episode the other day asking whether or not we are ever going to let a residential building move past level like 1 and 2. Which yes we will do, but not until the downtown, because they get way too tall and ugly for kind of Palaven small town vibes that were going on here. There's a great shot of Palaven, by the way. Very lovely areas. Wonderful. Okay. So a big tram line going up through the middle. Now I'm going to be a little bit dangerous and go for a little tram only road. And we come to our curve point tool here. We'll make a little tram roundabout in the roundabout. I think that'd be quite nice. And then we can essentially turn this into a tram and metro interchange. And get people off the metro to walk over here. And vice versa. I'm just thinking the orientation of the asset here. The longer it is, the more it's going to cut in to the land like that. So I think what we'll do is we'll bring up our tram road along the side. There we go. Just so that kind of cutting isn't as harsh. We've obviously got a touch of it going on here, but we can deal with that. And again, we've got a nice little view from the highway here too. Splendid. Fantastic. So, I think we'll now bring a road up the back of it as well. And then we do have some opportunity to hide with this zoning. With a touch of commercial, perhaps. And we want the continued theme of walkability and pathways to continue throughout this town. So of course we'll do that as well. So already, even with just the single asset in so far, we can see that we're just starting to generate those layers of height again, you know, the kind of the tiered design. Which is wonderful news. So let's start to generate now something of like a high street. And I guess we'll go for a nice little 3x3 batch at this point. We can also downgrade this road right here. Maybe we'll have some pathways. We're going to cut through from this point also. And then I think we'll go for like a little bit of a mix and match high density, low density and office combination here. Keep changing up the asset sizes. And we'll just see what comes in. And eventually, as we kind of climb higher up the hill, we'll move into some residential also. We can actually factor in some residential here because the noise pollution's fine for them. So let's do that. Go for a big bank. You know, we're just kind of testing what assets are going to come in at the minute. You know, so you can imagine if we've got like a small big bite in here. Or burger bite. Then having high density commercial next to that's going to stand out like a sore thumb. So we want to be careful Yeah, so I'm happy with these ones. These are all fine. Let's keep these in. And these ones also. We don't like them though, they can go away. Although that is a 2x4. Not a huge fan of that asset. Bring up some water so these guys are happy. Yeah, so it's these ones right here. It's this type of high density commercial. It's going to take a lot of design in this one. I can already feel it. This is going to be it's going to be a tricky build, this one. Working with some difficult terrain here. Yeah, I don't think I'm enjoying the high density commercial here. Let's move in with some low density, and we will include little pockets of high density, but not right there. We can start to expand a little bit of a road network on this side. And I guess we'll do that as well. We can maybe take this one out and then continue with the old trusty pathways, cutting through to different angles. And of course, maybe a little park life restroom. Yes, please. Okay. So we're growing here now. Kind of want to get some trams moving, so let's do that. Let's work on the design around the top of this tram road here. So we'll come for a one-way system and we'll come out 5 on each side. 6 even. And how about a unique statue here? We've already used 3 of them. And the Statue of Wealth will centralise, as will the Plaza of the Dead. Maybe this is a spot for the Plaza of the Dead. Let's kind of look out over Palaven. I'm sure there's some Palaven lore in there somewhere. Maybe this is where like the first person who lived in Palaven died. And because of that reason, they now have a statue here. Why not? Let's go with that. Okay, so let's grab our tram tracks again. And we'll just have a really cute, super simple tram loop focused around this unique building. And of course we can flesh it out even more if we want to, with some repeated paths either side. Super. Go ahead and get those trams moving in now. So we'll start from here. And then we can stop every block or so. Obviously we don't know the extent of this tram system yet, so once we do, we can get those guys in. And we'll probably expand it elsewhere off this main road as well. So we've got that little interesting repeating pattern, of course. How about a yellow tram? Go for a gold and yellow. Want to get some views of them coming up and down here. Okay, so while those trams move around, I want to start developing some little high density residential plots that are going to reside around here. So we'll cut ourselves out a little bit of land to do this on. So we're just going to use the regular roads, not going to use anything too fantasy. So we'll just go with some regular roads, not use anything too crazy for this right now. And this is what I'm looking for, is the 4x4 zonings within the road network. And also the opportunity to squeeze in some basketball courts as well. And then I think what we'll do here is go for some nice little 3x4 patterns. I'm happy with this one. This one's alright. You know, it's building that layer from the high street, you know. There is some higher density residential in this area. It's not all going to be high density either. We will move across to low density at some point also. Okay, so no, go away. Don't like those. Got a couple of little tile blocks in here actually. I think we'll stick with them. Now, is this the kind of vision that we want to generate? Is it really? Is this what we want? Do have a couple of back-to-back tile blocks here. So you can imagine the view from these balconies right here. Straight into your neighbour's bedroom is a little strange, but we can deal with it. So we'll kind of go for a repeated tile block pattern here. And then we'll come through, of course, with the old trusty pavement path. Actually no, I think we'll just have it come through the middle there. And then we'll align these ones too. And then just a really cute, spicy. This probably will be Spice of the Month as well at some point. Kind of using fences to decorate street ends and street corners, high streets. Kind of see what different combination of assets you guys can come up with to just flesh these things out a little bit. And ideas that we can all take inspiration from. So it's all about, right? Taking inspiration. But just something on the back of the car park that comes with the asset. It just helps to build these areas out a little bit more. Rather than just mass zoning this high density residential, because it gets super ugly so quickly. Yeah, and then we'll see what we've got going on down here. Let's come back to all our snapping. We'll maybe come out by 10, and we can probably link up with this point too. Then we can come in behind, and this gives us more opportunities for park assets. Let's actually get a park in for these guys to help them level up a little bit. Yeah, we kind of have a large playground here. Wouldn't that be pretty sweet? Oh dear. No, thank you. Have a little historical run. Save the ones that we like. This is a nice asset. This is the Mandy's Bowling Alley. That's quite cute. Yep, happy for some of these offices to go a little bit higher too. Make them more historical. And it looks like we're going to get the tile blocking again, does it? Yes, it does. So how do we feel about that? A very tightly knitted tower block. That makes sense. Yeah, I think I'm digging it. Especially with the basketball court in here as well. You know, the basketball asset works really nicely with these tall ones. It's got such like a London vibe about it, this. You see these types of tile blocks all the time in London. And then maybe like a couple of little shops. Like a little corner shop. Of course, these guys are going to want education as well. And we can actually fit in the community school perfectly here. Right outside the playground. So yeah, this is the vibe I'm wanting to generate. Let's go ahead and throw in some of the old trees. We'll see what we start to look like from that bottom row. And then we can decide if we're a fan or not. Let's go ahead and just expand this kind of natural forest. Some Palaven pines in here as well. These around, and then maybe some smaller ones too. Okay, yeah. So this is what I'm after. A really lush hillside suburb that's using some high density assets in there as well. So it's this little window that we now need to generate across the entire hill. There is traffic lights here though, which we do not want. Let's turn those off. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay, so we've got some people using the tram lines now, which is always appreciated. Now with our fences around, we can begin to work on some little smaller clusters of trees in and around this area. Factor in some park life assets as well, of course. I also think that tram interchanges will become a spice of the month at some point as well. When that is, there will obviously be confirmed in the Discord. You guys aren't in the Discord. There is a link below. Okay, let's see. If we throw in a park life asset here, it will destroy our fence, but let's just quickly draw it back in. There we go. Of course, we'll come back up and properly detail this in the time lapse, but you can get the idea, you know, just a couple of little fences, trees, little circular loop. Got some people moving back and to here to the metro. It's great news. Roundabout staying nice and clear too. Lots of people moving around. Okay, let's now move up toward the highway, because we do want the highway connection here. And I think we'll now count this road as like the highway slip. So from this point, we'll go into a one-way, like this. And then we'll switch to a highway ramp. And then we can have a highway road here as well. It'll be really interesting to see how much traffic this actually gets. We'll leave the game running for a hot second here and see what comes in. So just another little option for Sims on this part of town to jump on the highway. And they can obviously then move through relevant interchanges as they need to. Yeah, this is the vibe we want now, right? It is the vibe that we want. Okay, let's continue fleshing out our high street here. I think we'll use... This point seems like a nice natural spot to now transition into lower density as we move higher up the hill. And then we'll also bring some guys out here too. Maybe even go for like a little parkland here. Just behind the buildings, you know, little city park. Okay, so now we'll move into freeform and we'll change up the road type too. So I want to try and keep the curbs to the minimum. Because this way we're going to get better zoning tiles. So we'll have that one loop up there. And then we'll have one follow the main road. And we'll just start seeing a little bit of our road network develop here too. Oh, wonderful, we hit Capital City. Oh, I was not expecting that. Oh, we got the new tile. Well, boys and girls. I wonder what comes with the new tile. We also got ships and a university campus area. That's really nice. And a whole bunch of new assets. Got a harbour, which we won't be using for a while. American football stadium's good. And the advanced inland water treatment plant too. So if we now have a look, we can buy this tile. This one right here. We'll have a look around, shall we? Just quickly. Where's the map boundary up to now? Ooh, we got a lot of this space as well. However, guys, the downtown landmass now fully available to us. I wonder what's coming next episode. Who knows? Who knows, boys and girls? Okay. Let's continue with the Hillside suburb first of all. We haven't finished this yet, of course. So we'll have this one come down here. And then I almost want to start following the curves back. Have like a couple little dead-end cul-de-sacs in here as well. Not everything's going to feed back through to that main road, you know. Have one through there. Maybe in here too. And possibly here. Yeah, okay. So we'll mooch through now with our low density residential. And in terms of the assets that come in, because it's such a sprawling suburb, I'm not too bothered about specifically zoning. The only kind of specific zoning I'm going to do is filling out the larger squares. Don't want any of this, you know. No to these. And possibly no to these as well, but all these kind of 3x4s, 4x4s, 2x3s are acceptable. We'll let these grow as naturally as possible. Of course, you know, this is a new build, so we want to make sure it looks good before we kind of repeat the pattern all over the place. But I think what we'll do here is save like a little barrier between the low density and the high density, as we've done with many different areas in the city before. And then I think we'll just have a couple of splashes of high density residential and then begin to move into something a little bit smaller as we come down this side of things. And we get an office in here as well. We've got some education issues in here right now, which is perfectly acceptable. These guys will need a high school. And let's actually work on the idea right now. So how about we do this as like a little high school park, right? Let's bring a road through here. Throw the high school down in the middle. And then let's see what assets we can squeeze around. Maybe one of the maybe one of the skate parks. It's an asset we don't use too often. You know, this is where this is where this terrain comes into its own, really, isn't it? Okay. And then we'll come through with a little bit of a path line. And again, you know, with our detailing, we already know that we're using these little kind of boxed in gardens or like mini forests, whatever you want to call them. I'm sure there is like an ecological term for them, but I do not know. Just to help add a touch of border, you know. And we've got all this space here now that we can fill in with commercial. Happy for these to develop, as I am these as well. And I wonder, can we squeeze our little path through here? Not without breaking it, but that's fine. We can come through this one instead. And we can flesh out with a little repeated conifer pattern. You know, it's spending the time to move through each little block like this in a new area that will really help differentiate it from the rest of your city. Yeah, I think we'll definitely have a spice of the month as like combining two different methods of public transport into an interchange. For example, like this tram and metro. There's definitely some spice of the month potential there, I think. The current ring road submissions have been outstanding, guys. Do keep them coming in. You've got the rest of the month to not apply, but enter is the word I'm looking for. There we go. It's not a job. Take that one out and fill out these smaller areas. And possibly here too. Some more commercial in. We don't want you in here anyway, actually. Let's see if we can change these commercial assets out. Let's maybe just go for 1 4x4. Because those taller assets don't really agree with me. And then we'll see what we get coming in. It's like the famous, it's like the famous burger bite, or the big bite, obviously. Okay. Oh, look how the high street's developing. How's the tram line doing, actually? Not too bad at the moment. The little hillside suburb is developing now as well. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. Continue it up to here. We'll make sure, maybe go for some of these 2x2s. I'm not usually a fan of them, but I'm going to tolerate them right now. Just continue to fill in these larger blocks. And possibly here too. Yeah, so I think we'll keep this kind of sprawling suburb design running around the rest of this hill. And then having it all focused around Plaza of the Dead here. Which is getting some use now. See how we're looking from the industrial town centre? Yeah. It really is becoming a secret blend of 11 herbs and spices, guys. However, I'm going to continue to map out the road network here using the freeform tool. Okay guys, so we've got kind of the rest of our hillside sprawling residential mapped out here. We'll obviously wait for it to fill in as the demand comes and goes. Let's look at adding a couple little high street assets onto the high street, of course. That will help serve the area. We'll have a fire station, police station. Wonder also if we run with a cemetery. Now that angle is pretty awful, but we do have like cemeteries on hills near where we live. Near where I live rather, and I was saying we all live in the collective same location. But okay, I think we'll go for that. And maybe like a child healthcare centre as well. You know, you've got to be really careful with these. You can see where the terraform generation or the terrain generation just really like, almost like warps the asset. But from the right angle, on the right day of the week, after 3 days of rain, it does look alright. I think I can tolerate it. If it doesn't, then obviously we'll kind of return and take another look at it. Lots of people coming out the metro too. The metro line is busy. Look at this. Do we need to amend you? How many? Yeah, all the cars are full and the stops are super busy. Let's move up to 6 metro cars. The turn is a little bit sharp, isn't it? Okay, we'll tidy it up in detailing. As you can imagine, taking like a right-hand turn here, doing like 70 miles an hour. It would be an interesting turn for sure. I've also drawn up another little access road into the national park, which climbs up the hill here and joins up with this road, which feeds into the cable cars. So there are some nice themes beginning to develop around this part of town now. See how we're looking from the Plaza of the Dead. Yeah, it's on its way. On its way. Little bits of commercial and office zoning here and there. Of course, we will grab that plaza, that dog park as well. And then we'll flesh these out too. It's almost like a very small mini town centre, right? Zoning's focused around an asset. Kind of the general theme I tend to go for with my town centres. There's a lot of big bites in this town. And then again, where we kind of have these really awkward spaces, we can come through. Let's grab ourselves like a regular dirt path. And we'll come up. Maybe a little bit further away from the park asset actually. Hook into there, grab ourselves some nature reserve fencing. And then we'll keep kind of the hilly country vibes going with the old fencing trick. Run some bushes between along the path and the fences. Then we can mix through with some of our favourite taller conifers and pines. And then we'll just see that blend in a little bit as well and take people back and too from the suburbs to the town centre. Okay, so here's our kind of high street vibe now. Except for you. You need to go away. Looks like we're going to need a waste transfer facility up here as well, which is fine. We can have this over by the highway. As we're a little bit stuck for garbage processing, but we can fix that easily. Okay, so I think we're going to introduce some elevated walkways over here because the people crossing over the road are causing a touch of backlog and it's not really what we want. And then that will allow us to upgrade these roads into highway roads too. You can see right now they're all crossing over. People coming out the metro all come down here as well. So I think we'll do some little elevated pathways here. We should be good. So the pedestrian bridge definitely works. There's mad potential for park life cheese here. Metro and tram converge quite nicely. However, I think we want to make it a little more symmetrical. So we'll do something similar on this side as well, just so we've got kind of this cross section with the bridge going over the roundabout repeated. And it may push it back just a bit more as well, and then actually turn this into a park path. That should work rather nicely. Let's work on that together, shall we? So we'll take out this that we've got here at the minute. Grab ourselves a little park area. Yes, please. Anybody would like to name this tiny little park? Please do feel free to throw in the comments below. Now this is the closest point we can come out to, which is fine. We elevate by 3 and we can cut straight across. We shouldn't be looking too ridiculous there, I don't think. And then we can repeat something similar on the other side here, which will also allow us to kind of tidy up this final little corner. So let's see, we're 3 tiles away with the side gate from the roundabout, so we can replicate that here. So the potential is absolutely here for a park life cheese. This is pretty crazy. See lots of people walking. We're still getting a little bit of backlog. Now it doesn't stick around, you can see, you know, backs up a tiny bit and it clears, but we can definitely make this more efficient by landing them on this side of the road where the metro is. But we don't have the room to do that currently, so we're going to rework this little corner right here now, I think. So we'll paint our park area out to include the new metro station. Give ourselves a little path here. So we've got like a little sky walkway out the front here now. And it's not bad, it's got potential. There's definitely a park life cheese modular build in this with the 2 methods of public transport. Obviously kind of refined into a more measurable modular build version. It's getting tons of use, which is always satisfying to see, of course. 2,000 so far this week. Now we're still getting a few people deciding to cross, but the bulk of them are taking this one here, which is taking all the pressure off there. And we've now got a nice little smooth little skywalk above the roundabout here. Got some lovely symmetry going on up here, especially with the sun coming down as well. Very nice indeed. And yeah, that feels, guys, like a good place to jump into a D10 time-lapse. We're going to get some nice repeated tree patterns up alongside the highway here. And then we'll finally be able to see the effect of this highway cutting through the new part of town. And we'll also come down the roundabout here as well and get some nice patterns on the go. And then continue to flesh out. I'll probably stick like an industrial services block down here, like a waste transfer facility and a recycling centre, just so it kind of serves as part of town, because the waste recycling stuff is all over here and it's just going to force its way through. So just having something here to just service this little bit of town will work nicely. So as always, guys, we'll be right back. Okay guys, that is going to do it for today. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, a like below is always appreciated. Even much if you haven't enjoyed it, please feel free to leave a dislike as well. I'm happy with how this has turned out. Some really tricky terrain to work with, but we've got some nice little path detailing in using the fences as well, which you'll see towards the top of the neighbourhood as we move through the cinematics. Part Life Cheese is making about 4,000 a week. It's pretty crazy. We'll definitely do kind of a modular build episode on Part Life cheeses and a couple of different combinations you can put together to get the most out of them. It is on the list. But otherwise, hang around for the rest of the outro tag and check out this place at night time. It should look really cool with all the lights up on the hill. And it's nice to kind of box off this corner of the map as we now turn around towards something next episode. Otherwise, I will shut up and I will leave it there. I want to thank you all so much for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.